Everybody, thank you so much for coming back to another video. And in this video, we're going to be continuing the series for WandaVision. We're on episode 6, and this was another great episode that really has me wondering how they're going to wrap this all up. We have 2 more episodes after this. This episode took place in the 90s with a very cheesy 90s opener, but man, was this a really exciting and fun episode. It takes place during Halloween, so we finally got to see some of that footage that we saw in the trailers, where we get to see Scarlet Witch, Vision, in their older outfits, their old 90s Marvel Comics outfits, or at least an homage to them. Specifically, the one who looks most like their original outfit is Wanda. And since we now know that Pietro, played by Evan Peters from the X-Men films, that version of Quicksilver, is now part of this, which was a crazy reveal at the end of last week's episode. He was also in this episode in his classic 90s X-Men Quicksilver outfit. So, yeah, really thoroughly enjoyed this episode. You know, it was fun to kind of have the whole Halloween feel and vibe with that 90s cheese kind of feel to the show. We have a little bit more time with their kids in this episode who begin to develop their powers. But the real meat and potatoes of this episode for me is the whole fact that Vision lies to Wanda, saying that he's going to be part of the neighborhood watch. And she ends up finding out not too long into the episode that he is not indeed on the neighborhood watch. And then she kind of doesn't really go after him, which I thought maybe she would initially. But we start to see that he's just trying to start investigating after his argument with Wanda at the end of last week's episode, where he's starting to figure out things are not as they should be, and things are starting to be a little bit weird, and he needs to start kind of figuring things out. And he starts going to the outskirts of the town, you know, kind of further away from Wanda and the kids, where he starts to discover that there are some weird things going on with some of the other people who are not close to the main characters in the show. There's one specific scene that really stands out to me, which is there's this lady trying to put up a like ghoul or a ghost of some sort out in her yard, like a decoration. And she's just kind of stuck in repeat of just moving her arms up and down, trying to hang up this ghost, but she's not moving. And then you see a tear stream come down her face, just one teardrop. So I really enjoyed that. You know, we're seeing that these people that are inside of this WandaVision world are suffering. You know, they are stuck in this realm where they're able to see what's going on. They know what's going on, but they have no control. They feel just emotionally just drained. Some of them think that they're dead. And yeah, you know, it's heartbreaking, and it's kind of crazy to see Wanda's powers being used for good for her, but in such a selfish way where it has all these different people in pain. And I loved Vision kind of uncovering this. You even have Jimmy Woo, Darcy Lewis, and Monica Rambeau on the outside, noticing that the people on the outskirts of this town are literally not moving. And we do see that when Vision gets over there, that they're all just not moving. Pietro is really interesting in this episode because he's making a lot of comments, kind of being aware of what's going on. He knows Vision is dead. He knows he's dead. He knows he died. But he kind of said he was just kind of called into this world that Wanda kind of called to him. But she even makes reference, and he even makes reference to the fact that their memories are not exactly as they remember them, and that this version of Pietro is not the true Pietro, even though he does slightly have memories of the version played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, who died in Age of Ultron. So there's still a lot of, you know, mystery there. I'm definitely curious to see how they unfold that and how they unwrap that. I can't help but think that it's going to have to do something with the multiverse, and that's the reason that this version of Pietro showed up, but somehow has memories of the other Pietro. Very curious to see where they take that as the episodes continue. But I love the fact that we have characters that are figuring things out within it. We know that Vision is starting to figure things out. Him being able to touch Agnes's head and kind of see her fear, recognizing that she knows that she's stuck in this thing, but she kind of thinks that she's dead, and she knows that Vision is dead, but Vision doesn't know he's dead. There's so many mysterious things still being unfolded, and I'm very, very curious to see where they take it in the future episodes. And yeah, at the very end of the episode, we see that Wanda has expanded the reach of the WandaVision barrier, now bringing in more people, including the people that were on the outside on the sword division. That whole military base that was set up outside has now become a carnival. So you have Darcy Lewis that's now inside of there. I don't believe Jimmy Woo and Monica Rambeau are in there, or at least they didn't show us that they are. But majority of the characters and people that were part of Sword have now been sucked into WandaVision, and that's how the episode ends. Straight to credits right after that. She's expanded her reach, pulled in more people. And I have to imagine that this is kind of gonna go down the route of her maybe becoming overwhelmed with the control that she has on all these people, because as we clearly see in this episode, if they're not directly around our main characters, they're not moving, they're kind of just stagnant, and they're just kind of waiting almost to move, almost like a video game in a way where, you know, you have stuff going on around the map, but if you're far away from something in an open world, you know, video game, there's not characters just running around doing whatever when you're not right there. You know what I mean? That tends to be the case. So it kind of feels like a video game where you have these characters that are just waiting to move and stuff like that once you get to that portion of the map. So it is very interesting to see what they're doing. Wanda seems to just be getting more and more powerful, and she's just making some very selfish decisions that have her in putting people through a lot of pain. And I am very curious to see how things start to unfold as Vision starts to uncover things a lot more. I'm very curious for the explanation on why we have Evan Peters, Quicksilver, in here, thinking that he is the Pietro from Age of Ultron, but we as an audience know who he is. I'm very, very curious to see how they start to unfold that, especially since there seems to be some sort of mystery around their memories, Wanda and Pietro's not fully lining up, and her recognizing that he doesn't have the same face. Darcy Lewis, Kat Dennings' character, mentioned in the last episode that she recasted him. So, you know, they are making a note within the show itself that this is not the Pietro that we know from this universe. So I am very curious to see what they do with that. My assumption, like I mentioned earlier, is that it's the multiverse. But another really well-acted episode with some great special effects, fun, silly moments, but really the exploration of the narrative, and really mainly the whole idea of Wanda just controlling all these people and having these people in pain, especially those who are not directly involved in what's going on. That's something I'm very, very curious to see what they end up doing. One other line that I really enjoyed that leans into all of that is that Pietro literally goes like, "Where have you been keeping all the kids? Have you just had them asleep? You know, so that they don't have to deal with the trauma of kind of being awake in this kind of nightmare that everybody's in." And she kind of reacts to that very strangely, because she knows that, you know, he knows something that most people in this world don't seem to know, you know, that she is in control. And he's making these very casual comments about how she's controlling things, and she doesn't always know how to respond. So I am very curious to see how they handle things moving forward. Wanda even says in this episode that she doesn't really know how she did what she did. So I'm sure there's going to be some sort of explanation, but if I'm not mistaken, we only have 2 more episodes after this. And this is supposed to tie in directly to Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness. So it makes me wonder, are we going to see Doctor Strange by the end of the season? And how I don't really know, how is this all going to wrap up? This is going to be a really crazy finale in the last 2 episodes, and I'm very, very curious to see where they take it. So yeah, guys, that's going to be my thoughts on the 6th episode of WandaVision. Definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as I did. Hit that like button down below if you guys enjoyed the video. Comment your thoughts, subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.